had he dared lower himself to shake hands with a prisoner. Fallon already had the man pegged. A politician, he went to church to keep up appearances, took part in all the fairs, attended the meeting of men of power once a month, and used the underground tunnel that led from the hall to some classy brothel. He took bribes frequently, but not from prisoners. Prisoners didn't have enough clout or influence, let alone money. "You've been a naughty, naughty young man." Wilkinson shook his head and muttered, "Tisk, tisk." He did not look up, but kept right on reading the file the American Detective Agency and the Texas Attorney General had prepared. "A life sentence," Wilkinson tisk-tisked again. "Well, you'll be happy to know that when your life is over, we have a very fine graveyard for you." He had a nasal voice, a heavy gut from too many mashed potatoes and port beer, and thick, dark, unruly eyebrows that contrasted with a bald head glistening from sweat. "I suppose you're innocent, too," Fallon said. "Why would I be different than anyone else here?" The warden looked up. His eyes considered Fallon for a long time before he stepped back toward the window, leaned against the sill, and brought the tips of his fingers together. "Actually," he said, "we have one prisoner who says he's guilty. You'll meet him eventually, if you live that long. The first night usually drives the weak ones to kill themselves, but—" The fingertips parted, and the warden shoved his hands into the deep pockets on his striped woolen trousers. "I don't think you're weak, Harry Alexander." He said the name as though he knew it was an alias, but in this part of the United States people were always choosing whatever name they wanted, and that wasn't because they were outlaws or running away from someone or something. Before he pinned on that badge in Fort Smith, Arkansas, Harry Fallon had cowboyed and hunted buffalo, and he had known cowboys and skinners who changed their names with the seasons, sometimes on a whim or bet, just to freshen things up. The warden nodded to the assistant who had been quietly standing near the door, and the deputy marshal who had escorted Fallon the 150 or 60 miles from Austin to Huntsville. Once the assistant signed a receipt and handed it to the deputy, the lawman looked at Fallon, nodded, thanked the warden, and opened the door. The assistant closed the heavy door behind the departing lawman, and Fallon slowly, discreetly, let out a long breath. So far, so good. The man in the dark uniform spoke in a dreary monotone, as though by rote. Fallon would be issued a uniform of white and brown stripes. This being summer, it was actually spring, but spring usually seemed like a figment of one's imagination in Texas. Fallon would be given shoes, pants, shirt, and hat. Socks, drawers, and a jacket would be provided in winter. "If he's still alive," the warden said, sniffed, and searched for a handkerchief in his coat pocket. "You may keep any drawers, undershirts, socks, or handkerchiefs that you brought," the assistant said, "or may receive through friends or purchase them, but only after receiving permission from Superintendent Wilkinson, the assistant superintendent, or the sergeant." Fallon learned about the bedding he would receive, how to handle mess call. Once again, no prisoners could speak while eating. Bathing once a week. Privileges, like Fallon would ever be granted any of those. Visitations, punishments, and work details. "Start him out tomorrow in the mill," the warden said. The assistant went on. Fallon had heard it all before. Maybe one time Fallon thought he might hear it coming from someone who cared. Wouldn't that be something? "Questions?" the warden asked. "No, sir," Fallon answered. "Peter," the warden had found his handkerchief and wiped his nose. Spring, Fallon realized. Hay fever. Fallon grinned. It was good to see a man like Walter Wilkinson suffer. Fallon had never been allergic to anything, though he wished he were allergic to prisons. "Get him," the warden sneezed. "Outfitted."